purpose of this video is to share with others our experiences at the Central Valley Educational Leadership Institute implementing the Valley Legacy Grant. The Valley Legacy Grant was funded by the Department of Labor, and our purpose was to expose students to employment opportunities and careers in the high priority industries so that they would understand what it takes to work in those fields as well as the pathway to get there. In addition, we are working on basic education and connecting those concepts to the real world.
I have a deep belief as the principal of Patterson High School that every student who graduates from Patterson High should have the option of continuing their education at a college, but they should also be job ready.
The concept of the sector-based articulation project was to focus on a few high priority industries. Through the projects at the high schools, we served over 400 students and engaged approximately 75 business professionals from the communities in those programs. The business professionals were involved in many ways. They served on advisory committees to help develop and review curriculum. They served as guest speakers in the classroom. They hosted the students to their places of employment for field trips and job shadowing opportunities. They were engaged in so many ways, and it took a lot of coordination on behalf of the schools and the teachers to promote that cooperation and collaboration.
Motivating students to care about their learning, to be curious about the world, and to prepare for their future is one of the biggest challenges in our high school campuses today. Our career technical education classes address all three of those issues. Number one, exposing students to emerging careers motivates them. Number two, involving our community and making the curriculum in those courses relevant to students engages them. And number three, by using a project-based learning approach and showing students an application for their learning helps their understanding, helps them remember, keeps them in school.
I saw an opportunity for our students to become more involved in their education and see some relevance to what job opportunities are right outside the gates of Patterson High School.
Doing activities like these and having some hands-on learning is definitely beneficial for the students. It gets their attention, it gets them more motivated, and we actually have students that want to be in this class just for some of the aspects like the job shadowing or the drafting or the field trips, where they get to see things that they may not be able to see in other classes.
They are learning through investigation and through experiments, and they are starting to discover things on their own about alternative energy sources.
I've been exposed to much more information this year than I have in my previous years, and the hands-on activities have been great. The field trips have exposed us to talking to professionals, seeing the concepts we learn in class into real-life situations, and it's been really beneficial.
An important component to keeping kids in school is making the learning relevant for them. And a major building block towards this relevancy is establishing active advisory committees for these courses. The members of the advisory committees provide valuable experience for teachers. As we try to start these new classes that bridge the gap and connect people to emerging careers, one of the biggest issues is how are we going to find a teacher who's going to teach this? And by having active advisory committee people, they can take on the responsibility for the content of the class. The teacher then uses their skills to deliver that content, but they are freed from the responsibility of having to be an expert.
I started with contacting some companies in our town, and I was amazed with the amount of participation. And they wanted to help, they thought it was a great idea, they were enthusiastic about it.
We would not be successful without their input and support. We're not the experts. We're educators. We know how to teach. But in this case, we didn't know what to teach, and they are giving us the foundation of skills that they want us to teach our students so that they're successful in this industry.
They provide connections to job sites that give students experience not only in understanding what goes on and what kind of skills you need in the workplace, but also in understanding the culture of the workplace and how the culture of the workplace is very different from the culture of a high school.
I'm not the expert when it comes to logistics and supply chain, but I'm learning from the experts in the industry, and I'm not only the teacher to my students, but I'm also the student myself, and the teacher being our advisory committee members, and it's been fun.
In Patterson, the students are invited to the advisory committee meetings. For many of our students, this is their first exposure to how do adults work. At one of the meetings, a young man got up enough nerve to speak to the group. And when he finished, one of the advisory committee people said, "I want to be your mentor. Here's my card. You call me next week and we will get together." And that young man has made a turnaround in his approach to learning. He went from a laissez-faire student to being a very dedicated student. And that is because of the efforts of this one woman who has been meeting with him and encouraging him and helping him understand the skills he's going to need to get a job.
My logistics and distribution class it's a good class. It's really fun and interesting, and it's given me new direction and ideas of different job opportunities.
I think through this program I'll get the skills and prepare myself mostly for a job and my future out there.
My students are starting to understand the importance of math skills, calculating distances and prices, how a shipment starts in Patterson and can get to Madrid, Spain, the quickest, what's the cheapest, and how to make those calculations and how to research that type of information.
What I found is that students generally learn the concept twice as fast when there's a project that goes along with it. My student, Albert, recently told me, "Wow, I can't believe I didn't pay attention in geometry. All of this makes so much more sense." He was trying to figure out how thick a piece of material needed to be for his trailer. And at the end of it, he had learned 3 chapters of geometry in a matter of 5 minutes, looking at the section of the C channel and how much stress it would hold. He was shocked that what his other teacher had been trying to teach him for 2 months was actually so simple when it had a real application.
I found that the skills from welding and fabrication and just actual getting me able to have businesses and get references from them, building resumes and things like that is just a big help with getting ready for the real world.
One of the things that we learned through this whole process was this is very complicated work. It takes a lot of resources and it takes concerted effort. The educational leaders involved need to be completely committed to the projects. From the school board to the classroom, there needs to be 100% involvement and support.
So the challenge for all of us is to continue the work that was begun by the Valley Legacy Project. If you are interested in starting a program at your school or in your district, we want to help you. The teachers who participated, the administrators who are responsible for the programs at Sanger High School, Corcoran High School, Waterford High School, and Patterson High School are willing to help. They have seen the changes that have come about at their campuses because of these programs, and they have seen the positive impact these programs have had on their students.